Okay. Let me share. And Diane sends her apologies. She's actually at a conference and could not be with us today. And I told her I would cover it so she could just enjoy that time and do her networking. So all of you know are very familiar with C-Suite. C-Suite's a premier national women's executive organization, 8 years in the making and going on 9. And we welcome and blessed to have all of you as part of our C-Suite community. So thank you. And we can continue to foster executive level relationships across director level and above and emerging leaders. We want women to work together to expand their careers and their networks and foster relationships. We do have executive search. If you have positions and so forth in your company and you'd like us to help you with it, Diane's really leading that effort for us. So we appreciate the reach out. We can't do this without our sponsors. And so we have had some new sponsors, so that's great, as well as philanthropic partners. So Maryville was just named the #1 nonprofit in LA and just received a reward around that. And they're improving youth lives, as well as Bloom Again and Red Rover. And so, as I said, we're very blessed to have Mika Leah with us today, CEO and founder of Goomi Corp. And so she's going to give a little background about herself and her bio. And I am going to turn it over. Mika, do you want us to just go around the room and do quick introductions?
I would love that. I was going to ask if we could do that since we are such an intimate group.
Okay, sounds good. Michelle, why don't you go first and then Mimi?
Okay, hi. Hi down under. That's amazing. What time is it for you?
It is 7 o'clock in the morning. And just for clarification, I'm in New Zealand. So
Oh,
the
New
really
Zealand,
small
sorry.
island in the middle
Yes.
of nowhere. Australia is a big island. I'm the small island in the middle of nowhere. But yes, it is 7 in the morning.
Okay, well, thank you for being here with us.
Yeah.
Hearing. I work with corporations primarily in the US, but I just got back from about a month actually in Spain and then some family time in Portugal. And the work I do in Spain is a leadership development program for the last 4 years with 19 other countries,
Oh, wow.
which are in New Zealand and Australia. That's why I was asking kind of where you are and what you're doing. But my focus is on corporate. I do communications, training with leaders and teams.
Very cool. Thanks, Michelle.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mimi Donaldson. I'm here in Los Angeles and Marina Del Rey. And I am a speaker coach after 30 years on the keynote stage. I coach keynote speakers and TED Talkers. But tomorrow morning at 5 a.m., I am going to be seminaring a group of young women in an Summa Equity company for, mentoring them, 5 or 6 in Oslo, Norway. And they're Norwegian and Swedish, and they need to find their voice. So I'm using a big part of my football book from 2010, and it's all about the 6 M's: mission, motivate, market, manage your time. Anyway, it's very exciting, but I thought I'd share it with you guys because I am a mentor mostly now.
Awesome, Mimi. Thank you for giving back.
Yeah.
Sandy and then Mary.
Hello. First of all, New Zealand is on my bucket list, so I hope to get there in the next 2 years. I'm Sandy Pelland. I'm the CEO and founder of Mom Life TV, which is a digital publishing site with lifestyle content for moms. And it's at every life stage of parenting, along with general information, which is really through the women's general lifestyle, but through the lens and focus of being a mom. I'm a producer, a creative director. I'm in the PGA, the Producers Guild of America. I'm a judge for the Webby Awards. And what else? And I'm also one of the leads for C-Suite New York. And we have a fabulous list of events for the rest of 2025. Nice to meet everyone.
That was great.
Okay, Nick.
Yeah, I'm Mary Verdino. I'm here in Chicago, so we're sort of bringing up the whole country here. And I work for a company called JD Power. I lead a team of sales professionals across North America, and we focus on telecommunication and technology companies, my team, as well as the utilities in both Canada as well as the US. So great. And Mimi, I'd love to read that book you talked about on the mentoring.
Amy and then Kim.
Hi, everybody. I'm in Los Angeles. I spent my career in entertainment here in LA, working across film and features and digital and you name it, I've done it. I've been consulting as a fractional COO, as a former COO for the last year and a half. And I also am an executive coach.
Great, Amy. Thank you. Kim and then Jennifer.
Hello, I'm Kim Davis. I'm in Western Massachusetts, so New England area, different from the rest of you. I'm a president and CEO of Sisters of Providence Ministry Corporation, a nonprofit that has primarily services for the elderly, but also for the homeless and those in sober living. This is after about 20 years that I worked in the for-profit world in large financial institutions. The last 10 years plus, I've been working in nonprofits.
Yes, thank you, Kim. Welcome. Jennifer and then Joy and Julie. We're just introducing ourselves.
Hi, can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
I actually turned off mute this time. I'm Jennifer Grant. I'm in New York City. I am a finance and strategy professional. I do management consulting, fractional CFO work. I do a lot of business plans and help people prepare for funding
Awesome.
or growing their companies. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Joy's connecting to audio. So Julie.
Hi, I'm Julie Gatton. I'm in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, actually Greensboro, North Carolina area, and I am a CX professional currently in transition and exploring other opportunities outside my profession as well.
Awesome. And then Joy, you can round us up.
Hi. Okay, I'm just now joining. Apologies for
Just a quick introduction. Just a quick
but
intro.
yes. I am part of the Las Vegas chapter. I am a solopreneur, also looking for additional opportunities. Looking forward to hearing from everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Joy. Okay, Mika, I turn it over to you.
Awesome. It's so great to hear everybody's background and what y'all are doing. And I love it when I get to present to all women. It just fires me up. And I think it's such a great organization being here at C-Suite. So thank you for this honor of speaking to you today. So I'll share some slides. I'm more of a talker, but I do like to have visuals of like what to look at. So we will do that. So as Beth said, my name is Mika Leah. I am the CEO and founder of Goomi Group. We are a global corporate wellness company. And I'm here today to share my story with you. And maybe that's a little bit of inspiration. And then just talk about the importance of taking care of ourselves first. Resilience. I think I wrote resistance on there. I might have been in a negative space when I wrote that. Resilience, not resistance. We are not going to resist anything today. Before we get started, I'm a huge Simon Sinek fan. I love the idea of why, the professional why. And so I would love for you all to indulge me, since we are a small group, I'd love for you to share in the chat really quickly on why you were interested in this talk. And it could be as simple as like, I come to all the C-suite webinars. But if there's something you can share, I would love to see that in the chat. And just kind of hear from all of you. What's your why? Why did you come today? Maybe what you're hoping to get out of, so that I can touch on some important things. So I'm just going to let y'all take a minute and type away. And I have a feeling they're going to come fast and furious because I can see all of you typing. Awesome.
That's funny. Yeah.
Oh, I like resilience as your word of the year. That's awesome. Great. Oh, lessons learned. I will talk about lessons learned. Yeah. All right, cool. So I will share some of my lessons learned. I know all of you have lessons too that we can kind of work on. And love this and introduce whole body intelligence. I do like whole body intelligence. Yeah, everything's exhausting these days, Julie. I hear ya on that for sure. Okay, great. So I am going to, I'll leave it open, but yes, do chat with me. If I missed anything in the chat, let me know. So my story I will share with you is okay, background on me. I was a soccer player. This is a little picture of me on here. I don't know if you can see bottom right. I was a soccer player. I was a dancer through high school. I even ran a half marathon a couple months after my daughter was born. That was the rock and roll half in Los Angeles. I love fitness and wellness. And the a few months after the half marathon, I went to go run again. I took a break because I decided after the half that it was horrible and I never wanted to run ever again. But I'm an athlete and we just kind of keep torturing ourselves. So it was a few weeks later and I went for a run. And this was like an easy run. I just kind of went around the block. I was going to do maybe a couple miles. And I found myself after that first mile, I was having chest pains and I got nauseous to the point that I even threw up. So I had to stop in the bushes. And kind of walked back to the house and thought maybe something was off with me. And at the time, I was also teaching cycling classes, and that was for fun. I was actually an advertising executive, but on the weekends and before work, I would teach cycle classes. And I found myself um, every time I went to go teach a cycle class, it was on the second floor of the gym, and I was finding myself really breathless every time I would have to climb those flights of stairs to teach the cycle class. But I was obviously fit enough to be teaching a cycle class on a weekly basis. So I eventually went to the doctor and uh, I said, something's wrong and I'm feeling kind of off. And she politely reminded me that I was going through a divorce and I had two kids under the age of two, and it was just stress. And I probably shouldn't have to worry about it and just go home. So I did that. And then over the course of a year, I kept teaching those cycling classes and I kept kind of going back to the doctor being like, something's not right. I'm just not feeling, something's a little off. And every time she would tell me the same thing, don't worry about it. It's just stress. You're fine. EKGs are normal. You're good to go home. And it wasn't until my 33rd birthday when I decided I would celebrate this because I'm a fitness nerd, which I think I prefaced. So being the fitness nerd, I decided to go on this hike. And it was an easy hike. It was one that I had done when I was 9 months pregnant. So I should have been able to do it 40 pounds lighter and in really good shape. But I couldn't even make it the first mile of the hike. I was so breathless that I literally had to sit down in the dirt to catch my breath. And it felt as if an elephant were sitting on my chest. I couldn't breathe. My heart was racing, and I had this pain shooting down my left arm. And there I am sitting in the dirt, and I'm looking up at my hiking partner, who was a pack-a-day smoker, drank 2 bottles of wine a night, and probably hadn't exercised in a decade. And there I am sitting there looking up at him, and he's looking down at me like I'm the one with the problem, like something's wrong with me. And it was in that moment that I knew something was seriously wrong with me. So this time I went back to the doctor and I said, I'm not taking no for an answer. I want a cardiologist and I want a stress test. So she refers me to the cardiologist and he says the same thing. EKGs are normal, you're perfectly fine, it's just stress, you can go home. And I said, you know what? Again, I'm not taking no for an answer. I think there's something wrong with me, and I'm not leaving until I get a stress test. So we scheduled the stress test out for 2 weeks later. Sorry, I'm getting over a little bit of a voice thing. So we schedule the stress test from 2 weeks out. I get on the treadmill and I barely make it 8 minutes in. And the nurse tells me to get off as quickly as I can. And I say, can you tell me what's going on? And she said, the doctor will mail you your results in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So I drive home, and it's LA, so Mimi knows how LA traffic is. So I drive home, takes me about 20, 30 minutes. I walk in the door, and about 15 minutes later, the doctor calls and says, how soon can you get here? You're going straight into surgery. And surgery revealed that my left main artery of my heart was blocked at 98%. And it's what's called the widowmaker. So the doctors debated whether to perform a triple bypass, open heart surgery with a triple bypass, or because my babies were so little at the time, whether to try out stents and to try and stent the left main, which was pretty radical at the time to consider stenting the left main. So the doctors actually gave me the choice what I wanted to do. So I came out of that surgery. They went in separate corners, made their phone calls, and I went upstairs into the ICU. And I did a lot of research, and I found that if we did the stents, let's put it this way, if we did the open heart surgery, I wouldn't have been able to pick up my babies for a whole 6 months. And I couldn't imagine not picking up my babies for 6 whole months. So we ended up with stents, and I ended up with 5 heart stents and 1 "you're lucky to be alive" later. And when I think about that moment, that was the pivotal moment for me, which made me realize, when in hindsight, that had I not pushed for testing and had I not advocated for myself, my 1-year-old and 2-year-old would no longer have had a mother. And when I stopped to think about all the things that I would have missed, I would have missed the first day of kindergarten for my daughter. I don't know who my son would have taken to the mother-son dance. And I would have missed my daughter score her first soccer goal. And I would have missed out on the opportunity to meet the love of my life and my soulmate and get married. And so those are all the things that the message there is really that it's important for us, and this is what I learned the hard way, is that as women, we are constantly caretakers for everybody else. And we grit it through, and I think we do have a lot of resilience, which I will talk about. But I think it's really important, before we get into how to be resilient, how to cultivate the grit that we already have. It's important that we know that we need to put on our oxygen masks first and take care of ourselves first. Because if we don't, we won't be there to take care of our family, our friends, our loved ones, and everybody else, and all the businesses and everything else that we do. So I really believe that we are here for a purpose, and that all of us, our passion led us here. And obviously, prior to my heart surgeries, I was doing everything right. I was fit, I was healthy, I was teaching cycle classes for fun, no high cholesterol, no smoking. What nearly killed me wasn't physical, it was stress. Unchecked, chronic, deadly. And it's the kind of stress that's so many of us here today have just learned to live with. And that moment on that operating table really did change everything for me. And I learned that and realized, I learned the hard way that health isn't just about eating kale and staying physically fit, and that being healthy on the outside doesn't mean that we're well on the inside. And that wellness really is a holistic system. And mental health, that really is the key that turns it all on. It turns it all on. And when I talk about wellness today and I talk about how we're going to stay resilient, I'm going to talk a lot about wellness and health. I'm not just talking about gym memberships and green smoothies. I think all of us know that to be true. I'm really talking about the connected system, the mental health, the physical health, the emotional health, and even the financial health, because each of those pillars really does support the other. As simple as if we're not financially healthy, then we're stressed about finances, or some people can't even afford the health, the food parity that's out there, and being able to afford healthy food because it does get expensive. So that's what we'll talk about today. All of these mental, personal, nutritional, physical, social, financial, all of it's interconnected. And I'll talk a little bit about that's why I started Goomi Group. After my life-changing moment, I realized that I wanted to make health and wellness affordable and accessible for everyone, which is why I started Goomi Group. And my little journey of Goomi Group began as I started it as an on-site only fitness and wellness company, and that was launched in 2015. And in 2020, when the pandemic hit, we lost every single client we had within 2 weeks. So every client went dark. I cried for 48 hours, and then I kind of decided that I was built for grit and I was built for resilience. And I put on my big girl panties and I was like, how are we going to fix this? And how are we going to make this work? And we transitioned into the virtual space and it was awesome. And actually, the company grew exponentially. We started servicing clients globally, which I never thought was possible. And that opened up a whole world for me in the on-demand space too. And we launched our virtual library. So where we are today is this in-office virtual and on-demand programs that meet employees wherever they are. And we are a B2B company, so we work directly with businesses. Mary, JD Power was actually one of our clients. So we have worked with JD Power. We can do on-site fitness and wellness. We do it across all of those pillars because it really is all connected. Happy to talk about Goomi all day long, but that's not why we're here. So I'm going to encourage y'all, because we are all in different time zones, we're going to take a little stretch break and I'm going to show you how easy this is to kind of move our bodies and how good moving our bodies feels. So I'm going to encourage you all to take a stand with me. I haven't practiced this with this computer yet. So I'm going to stand up. I'm going to stand away from the computer. I'm going to take off my glasses so I can see y'all. All right. So we're just going to stand away from our computers so that you can see me. And I want you just to like shake it out. Just shake. We're going to shake out a little energy. We've been sitting all day long. We're going to sit a little longer, but just a little bit of a shake. Shake it. You can like bounce up and down, just getting some of the blood flow through the body. And when you're done shaking, I want you to stand nice and tall. So your hands are going to be by your side and your palms are going to face the computer screen. I want you to roll your shoulders up and back. And I want you to bring your toes together. Your heels are going to be a little bit apart. I want you to lift your hip bones a little bit forward while you're lengthening the spine. And then I want you to just take a deep breath in really quick before we raise our arms. So just deep breath in and then let it all out. You can sigh it out. A lot of you are on mute, so we'll just All right, on this one, we're going to raise our hands all the way up to the sky. Just nice, beautiful. And then exhale, lower down. We're going to do that 2 more times. So nice and slow. Inhale. And exhale. Wonderful. One more time. Inhale, just getting that body moving, blood flowing. And exhale. And we can shake it out if you like. I like to give a little shake. Now we're just going to roll out our shoulders because those are the first things to get tight when we're on calls. So I just want you to roll it up and back. Perfect. And now we're going to roll it forward a few times. Just nice stretching. Wonderful. And 2 more deep breaths in. 1, inhale all the way up. And exhale. And we're just going to do that 1 more time. Inhale. Lovely. And exhale. All right. Go ahead and take a seat. I'm going to take a seat, put my glasses back on so I can see you all. So that's just like a little bit. I always like to do those little exercises because we forget how just the littlest bit of movement makes us energized, right? Because I'm feeling a little bit more energized, feels a little bit better. I feel the blood flowing, maybe like a little tingle in the fingers, a little tingle in the toes. Just a little bit of blood flow is really great for us. And sometimes it's really important just to take a little bit of time for ourselves. And I think I wanted to show you that even a minute or 2 of stretching can do exactly that, where it's just a minute or 2 for yourself. Even going outside for some fresh air can also do the same thing. All right. So now I'm going to tell you, I'd like to introduce you to Charlie. Charlie is my 2006 Toyota Highlander. Has anybody on here ever named your car? So I named Charlie Charlie. Yeah, we name our cars. Okay, good. I'm not the only one. Charlie's been through a lot. She has been 2 kids, 3 moves, a spilled latte or 5, and she's still going strong. In fact, my dad still drives her, but she's officially retired from mom duty. She's got over 200,000 miles, a missing hubcap, and now a check engine light that just won't turn off. But she's reliable. Why? Because I took care of her. Oil changes, tune-ups, regular check-ins. I never skipped the maintenance. And when something was off, I didn't ignore it and I got it checked. Because we all know what happens when you ignore the check engine light. It doesn't go away and it gets worse until you're stuck on the side of the freeway with smoke pouring out of the hood. Has anybody, we've been there, right? And this is how it relates to us. So Charlie and us, we have a lot in common. We need to take care of ourselves before we burn out. And it's really important. So today I'm going to talk about just a little things that I truly believe help with that resilience and taking care of ourselves. Because if we don't take care of ourselves, we won't have the energy, the stamina, the health to be resilient, to be able to bounce back on the days where it's either a bad day or something happened at work, or to even be able to handle any of the crises that come our way. So today we're going to talk about just a little bit of self-care, eating better, getting active, a good night's sleep, a healthy mindset. I'm going to kind of blow through really quickly the eating better and getting active because y'all know how to do that. So I'm just going to give you some quick tips and tricks. What I want to focus on is a good night's sleep because I'm guessing a lot of you in this room are not sleeping well. At least I'm not these days. And a healthy mindset because again, the healthy mindset is going to be the most important thing for resilience that builds resilience. Any questions so far? You're welcome to come off mute and ask questions or yeah. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Anyone? No? Okay. I was looking at the chat really quick. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. I love that everybody likes the stretch too. So we will have a little meditation at the end. So stay tuned, and I'm going to treat you all to a nice little meditation. All right. So we are going to actually, I'm going to skip the eating part. I realize I think I skipped the slide on here. But eating is pretty simple. You are what you eat. So don't be fast, don't be cheap, don't be easy, and don't be fake. Got it? Pretty simple. Whole foods, natural. Y'all know how to do this. All right. So we're going to kind of go straight into getting active. We all have excuses. It is as simple as I just showed you with that stretch. Sometimes it's just standing up and stretching out our bodies and doing what we need to do to just get the blood flowing. So going outside, playing, I think that's really easy. Exercise does have to start somewhere. Even if you haven't exercised in years, you can start today. And it's not an all or nothing. And I can't tell you how many times a week I tell myself today's going to be the day. And if today isn't the day, then I tell myself tomorrow, today's going to be the day. So let's get outside, get some fresh air. There's an expression in New Zealand where it's just called touching grass. So sometimes when you're stressed out, like even my daughter will be like, Mom, I think it's time for you to go outside and touch grass. Like you got to go touch grass. So just take off your shoes, go outside, let your feet touch the grass. Front yard, backyard, go for a walk, whatever it is, touch grass. Taking the stairs is a really easy one, just to get a little bit of exercise. Parking far away. My favorite trick is to park as far away as possible. One, I get in the extra steps, and two, I don't have to fight anybody for a spot, which is like my favorite thing in the whole entire world. Um, Walking whenever, wherever. Hubby and I now, we live close to town. It's a really small town. It's not like a big city. It's very small. But we are able to walk to town. So we will often walk to dinner if it's the two of us. And it's really nice. It's just a little bit of getting your steps in. Also, finding an accountability partner. I think that that's really, really key. I told my besties, which are also my personal board of advisors, I told them that I hadn't been exercising in a long time. And obviously, owning a wellness company, it's really important that I get out there and walk, right? I got to walk the talk. And one of my girlfriends was like, okay, Mika, I want you to do 5 burpees. And I was like, oh my God, that sounded so hard. Like 5 burpees sounded really challenging to me. And she said, and I want you to film it so I can see it. So every day I had to film myself. And what I realized, two things. One is having to film myself and send it to her made me want to do more. And it definitely kept me accountable. But two, I realized 5 burpees took me less than a minute and my heart rate got up. And I thought, wow, if that's the only thing I did, at least I got moving. So even a minute of exercise makes a difference. The other thing is just wake up earlier. We can all wake up earlier, I think, except for I now wake up at like 4:45 in the morning, so I refuse to wake up any earlier to exercise, but I get it in later in the day. So, easy for those that wake up at like 8 or 9, just wake up a little bit earlier and get the exercise in. So, the next thing is, this is my favorite quote. I'm so tired, my tired is tired. I think it was Pooh Bear that said this. I'm not sure. Winnie the Pooh, who's one of my faves. So I know, show of hands, just really quick. How many of you woke up at least once during the night last night? Yeah, woke up at least once. Okay. How many of you slept less than 6 hours last night?
Me.
Yeah, I think there's like half of us. Okay. So yeah, definitely more than half because I just saw Joy's hand go up. Okay. So this is the problem. We're not alone because more than half of us have not slept more than 6 hours, which is awful. And the CDC reports, or the CDC recommends, it's 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night. Now, I know my body, it's 7 hours and 15 minutes, and I've timed it, I've done all the research. I know that's what I need. Some of us need 8 hours, some of us need right about 7, but 7 to 8 hours is important. And the reason why I asked about the less than 6 is because those of us that slept less than 6, and I'm with you, I went to bed at 11:30. I did wake up more than once in the night, and I had to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:45 in the morning. So I'm definitely below the 6-hour threshold. The problem is that those of us that sleep consistently less than 6 hours a night are twice as likely to have a heart attack. Isn't that awful? Twice as likely. I know, Mary, I'm telling you, it's scary stuff. So sleeping 5 hours or less a night is associated with a 45% increase in heart attacks too. So it's just this lack of sleep is one problem. The others is like the disruptions it causes. And I always look at, if you look at like the Exxon Valdez and like Chernobyl and like all these like horrific situations, they were all, a lot of them were caused by people who did not have a good night's sleep. So sleep impairs so much outside of like decision making. It affects mood, it affects diet. So there's actually a hormone with that we have that will increase when we don't sleep, and it makes us crave all the junk food. Like for me, it's sour gummies and crisps, potato chips. It's that, so everything is affected from us not having creativity, productivity, all of that. We all know that if we don't have a good night's sleep. And with more than 50 million Americans suffering from sleep problems, the CDC refers to it as a public health epidemic. So on that note, I'm going to show you this. Okay, I know we've all fallen asleep watching TV or reading a book, right? Everybody here has at least had that experience at least once in their life. I've had friends fall asleep in movies. That is degrees of excessive sleepiness. Moderately severe as those that have fallen asleep watching a movie. I have heard stories of people falling asleep. I've heard stories of a CEO. I'm not kidding you. A client said they had a CEO that would fall asleep in meetings, sometimes interviews, where he'd be interviewing. So they would have to prep the interview candidates and let them know that the CEO might fall asleep. I'm like, why did nobody help the CEO with his sleep problem? Because that's huge. And then obviously like the really severe, I don't know who the people who are falling asleep while walking, but they clearly have it really, really bad. But this chart is to show you that even for those of us that have fallen asleep watching TV, which is me at least once a week, I can't even read without like making it through the first couple pages. That's severe. Like that's severe sleepiness, which means that we're lacking sleep and it's a problem. So here's a couple tips and tricks. Good night's sleep. No afternoon caffeine. I know this is really hard for some of you, but actually no caffeine after 12 noon. None. I know it's bad, especially if you're having a hard time falling asleep. That could do it. A trick to help you fall asleep is taking a hot bath or even a hot shower or even like spa. So what happens is that when you take that hot bath and you come out, we're flooded with the cool air and our body gets triggered. So late at night, our body goes through the circadian rhythm of cooling down at night. So taking a hot bath tricks your body to say it's sleepy time, which is great. Keeping it cool and dark and quiet, we all know this. Sound machines. For those of you that wake up in the middle of the night and kind of get stressed out, and this was my husband, by the way, last night, he woke up and like checked his phone. Now his phone has a bright light on it. And then he looks at the phone and then we all do this. We see the phone and we're like, oh, it's 2 o'clock in the morning or it's 3 o'clock in the morning. What happens is as our mind actually starts to stress out a little, right? Because you think, oh my God, it's 2 and I'm awake. And then we start like hormones start doing their things, our thought starts doing our things, and that stress increases the level and our heart rate goes up, all of the things. So the trick is block your clock. If you wake up in the middle of the night, it's okay. It doesn't matter if it's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, it's 10 minutes before your alarm wakes up. Don't look at your clock. Just go right back to bed. The other trick is powering down 2 hours before we go to bed. 2 hours, no electronics. That includes TV, y'all. It's a hard one, but it'll help you fall asleep faster. And the other one is work out wisely. Try not to work out like a heavy walk or a heavy workout before bed. Again, 2 hours before bed, workout. If you do like a yin yoga where you're laying in bed and you're just tightening muscles and relaxing them. So, any questions on this? I've done a lot of research on the sleep. Okay. Mindfulness. All right. So, meditation, because some questions can't be answered by Google. I'm just curious, out of all of us, I've been doing a lot of, I love reading on meditation and leadership books and all of this. One of the things that I found so fascinating, I just finished, I've read it now twice, but Tim Ferriss's Tribe of Mentors. Has anybody read that book? No. It's actually really fascinating. What he's done is he had this series of questions that he sent out to like really famous leaders and mentors and people, really big people that have hugely successful people. And he's asked them a series of questions, and it's always the same questions, but they don't have to answer all of them. And one of the things that I found fascinating was I would venture to say 90% of the people interviewed all said they had a meditation practice, and that meditation practice was actually the most beneficial to their success as leaders in their fields. So, anybody here have a regular meditation practice out of curiosity? Michelle, no? Okay, so we are going to practice it. That's great. So one of the things that I found with meditation is just meditation 101. Let's just go through really quick. The research actually shows that the more you meditate, and as little as 5 minutes a day, we all have 5 minutes to spare. I know we do. I played on Facebook for like, or Candy Crush for like 5 minutes yesterday, actually longer, but I won't, definitely longer than that. So we all have 5 minutes to spend. 5 minutes or more a day consistently for 20 plus days will actually increase the gray matter in our brain. The gray matter is the good stuff. That's the stuff that goes away when we have dementia and Alzheimer's. So creating and increasing gray matter is key. It also will help reduce stress and anxiety. So from a scientific standpoint, it has actually been shown to shrink the amygdala. So the amygdala is the part of our brain that has the fight or flight mode, and it's that stress, it puts out all our stress hormones. The amygdala has been growing significantly in humans as a human race since the Industrial Revolution, which is fascinating. So since the Industrial Revolution, our stress has been increasing. Again, meditation medically has been seen to reduce and shrink the size of the amygdala. So meaning that it helps with reducing stress and anxiety. It also helps you pause before the fight or flight mode. And a meditation practice can help it. And how this helps with resilience is that before we respond to anything in our lives, to take that beat, to take that moment of time to say, I'm going to pause and I'm going to see what's happening, the feelings that I'm feeling, the thoughts that are coming, all of that. To even have that moment is amazing. And it can help us make better decisions, and it can also increase our resilience. Better focus and productivity. I practice meditation on a regular basis. So I do wake up at 4:45 in the morning on most days in fall and winter for me. I have to wake up at 4:45. So I find that by 1 or 2 in the afternoon, I'm craving the caffeine. And I don't want caffeine because I need to be able to sleep. So what I do is I do a meditation practice, and I do one for focus and productivity. And there's specific ones out there. So great apps that are, some are free, some are not, but I'm going to list them off. Insight Timer has a free version. I love it. I'm happy to make all the recommendations. You just send me a note and I will give you more recommendations than you can ever need in your life. There's another app called Buddhify, Buddhify. Buddhify is like $4.99 or $5.99. It's less than a cup of like a fancy coffee, and you'll have it for life. That one's great. It's a pretty rainbow wheel that you can pick what you're feeling or what you want. There's also Headspace, there's Calm, there's so many. Goomi Group now has the app with our meditations on there also. And we're talking about partnering with, so we have a partnership with Les Mills. So we have their meditation classes, we have our homegrown meditation classes, so much out there. And then, like I said, it does improve EQ and resiliency. So it gives you that mental elasticity. And I'll give you an example of what I mean specifically. So we've all been around for a long time. I know that you've probably all had the experience, and you can raise your hand if you have, where you've driven home from work or you've driven to work, and then you get there and realize, oh my God, I don't remember how I got there, right? And you get home and you're like, how did I get here? So that is like, if you think about that, that's like a little loop in our brain. And because we've driven that loop multiple times, we can do it so much we didn't even think about it. Meditation actually creates new roadways in our brain. So it will create that new roadway, and that new roadway in our brain is actually what builds the EQ and builds the resiliency. So it creates those new pathways in our brain, and that's what helps. All right, promoting relaxation and making you overall healthier and happier. So I'm going to take you through a little practice. We're going to do it for 3 minutes. It will be really easy, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. You are welcome to take a screenshot. I don't know if you want to pin this, but you're welcome to screenshot it, keep it, print it out. If you want a version, I can email it to you. This is what we're going to practice: box breathing. This is your moment to reset, to recharge. And remember that your engine of the car needs to be taken care of. And it's going to be our time to take care of ourselves. So this simple practice called box breathing, it's a tool that you can take with you anywhere. It's as simple as drawing a box on a piece of paper, which y'all can do. So if ever you need a moment of calm or clarity, you can draw the box, and we're going to do this. So here's how it's going to work, and then I'll take you through it. We're going to breathe in for 4 counts. We're going to hold for 4 at the top of the breath. So we'll hold for 4. Then you're going to exhale for 4, and then you're going to hold for 4. You can keep your eyes open or you can keep your eyes closed. It is up to you. It's as simple as tracing the 4 sides of the box. So I'm going to change my voice and I'm going to bring it down a notch, and we're going to try it together. I'm going to let you exhale. I want you to plant your feet on the ground. Whether you have your eyes open or closed, I want you to plant your feet flat on the ground. If you need to, I'm short, so if you need to scoot your tush towards the front of your chair, do that. And I want you to sit nice and tall. I want you to take your hands and I want you to place it in your lap. If you're feeling like you're moving really fast, hands down to ground yourself. If you're ready to accept whatever's coming to you, you can place your palms facing up to accept whatever the universe has for you as a gift for you. All right, we're going to exhale all of our air out really quickly. And then we're going to inhale together for 3, 2, 1. Hold for 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to let you do this on your own. Inhaling and holding and exhaling and holding. Keeping your eyes closed if they're closed. And we're going to let your breath return to a natural rhythm. Feeling your feet on the floor, your body in your seat, your shoulders nice and relaxed. This moment, this breath is always available to you. When things get loud, fast, or overwhelming, you can come back here. 4 sides, 4 counts. Just breathe. When you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. Thank you for taking that moment with me. Again, another really easy way for us to just relax, take care of ourselves, put our oxygen mask on ourselves first before we help everybody else. So I hope today filled your tank with inspiration and validation for the importance of what you do and giving you a little bit of a clear path forward. I want you to listen to your body and listen to your inner voice, because just like Charlie, if we don't take care of ourselves first, we don't get the oil checks and the tune-ups and the regular check-ins, then we won't be here for our friends, our family, and our loved ones. So you've seen now how resilience starts with that simple but powerful phrase. And whether it's a micro moment like we had stretching or with the breath work, this is your chance to kind of take care of yourself. And obviously, as C-suite leaders, you set the tone for your entire organization, your company, your family, for the people around you. So self-care is not selfish. It's a strategic imperative. All right. Thank you so much for taking the time with me today. I'm so, so grateful from my heart to yours. Happy to answer any questions.